Hi there, I'm Monica Healy. Welcome to our tutorial on how to use the 3 primary fertility signs to maximize pregnancy. It's here we want to chart your way to conception. What I have here is a fertility chart. For the time being, we're going to ignore this line because I'm going to assume this is your first attempt at doing any charting. These are the days of your cycle. I'm going to use a 28-day cycle, just for an example. Here's the date. Day 1 is the day you start your period. You can write the date here. This is the day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whichever day of the week you start your cycle. On this line, you're going to record with an X, like so, the days you have intercourse throughout the 28-day cycle. On this line, you're going to record the time that your temperature is being taken. This is where you record your temperature. The temperatures range from 96.5 degrees Fahrenheit to 99 degrees Fahrenheit. Temperatures usually stay in this mid-range here, and I'm going to expand and explain this in a few minutes. Here is where you're going to record the type of cervical fluid and its consistency all across the 28 days of your cycle. And below it on this line, you're going to record how your cervix feels, whether it is firm, moderate, or soft, on those days that you perform that. Here I've given you a quick little description just to remind you of how cervical fluid changes throughout your cycle. And at the bottom of your chart, I've left a little space for you to write in some miscellaneous things, such as if you've gone on a trip, you've been ill, you've taken drugs such as an antihistamine, which could affect your cervical fluid. Okay, so this is what your fertility chart looks like. We're going to go back to the top. There are only a few days during your cycle when intercourse will result in conception. Your body provides signals that you can observe and record, and that will give you a visual picture for you to identify your most fertile days. I will try to make this as simple as possible, and for the sake of ease, as I mentioned in explanation, I will explain a common 28-day cycle. There are many variations, and I will comment on these in future tutorials. Start a new chart on the first day of your cycle. Here. You'll be marking down your temperature here every day, and you're going to take a line through and connect all these dots to give you a visual picture of how your temperature fluctuates through the 28 days of your cycle. Take your temperature immediately upon waking before you get out of bed or do anything. Now, I really mean this. The only movement that you will perform is to reach for your thermometer. So place your thermometer very close to you before you go to sleep so you can easily reach it in the morning. Take your temperature at the same time every morning. We suggest a digital thermometer because it is much faster, more accurate, and easy to read. Place the thermometer into your mouth and try to place it in the same position every time you take your temperature. So to summarize, the first thing when you awake is to reach for your thermometer, place it in your mouth, under your tongue, and try to place it in the same position every day. Leave it in your mouth for at least 1 minute, or follow the instructions given to you when you purchased your basal thermometer. It should be a digital thermometer because we need to detect minute temperature changes, and it's much more difficult with a glass thermometer. Record this temperature on the chart here. So this is day 1. You've taken your temperature and you've read it to be 97.8 degrees Fahrenheit, and you place a dot on the first day of your cycle on your chart. As you go through each day of your cycle, you're going to begin to see a bit of a trend. The temperatures here go up and down. They fluctuate, but in a low range. And here, later in your cycle, they fluctuate. They go up and down, but in a higher range. The most important thing for you to remember is not to get caught up in the day-to-day fluctuations. You want to look at the whole picture. Looking at a chart that has been filled in through one entire cycle, this is what you'll see. Estrogen is the predominant hormone during the first part of your cycle, and your body temperature is a bit lower, usually between 97.0 degrees to 97.7 degrees Fahrenheit, or 36.1 to 36.5 degrees centigrade. Mid-cycle, progesterone takes over and heats things up a bit. After you ovulate, your temperature will rise by about 0.4 degrees or higher, and your basal body temperature can rise to as much as 97.8 degrees Fahrenheit or 36.5 degrees centigrade, or even higher. Sometimes a woman can have a temperature drop, such as here, just before ovulation, and this is caused by a luteinizing hormone surge. But not everyone experiences this. But if you do, this is the day to have intercourse. The next primary fertility sign is the changes in cervical fluid. As described in the video, the cervical fluid goes through many changes, and we will chart it in the box as such. I'm going to go back down here on your fertility chart. The first few days are marked with a P because these are the days that you're flowing, the days you have your period. Then following that, you may have a couple of dry days, and you can mark that with a D. The cervical fluid then may be sticky, and you can mark those days with an S, and then turn a creamy color marked with a C. The most important and most fertile cervical mucus or fluid is clear and resembles egg white. It has a very stretchy capability and signifies your most fertile time, so mark that with an E. Here, these are your most fertile days on this particular sample chart. After you have ovulated, the cervical fluid can become sticky and then dry again until your next period starts. And you can see this marked here, sticky, dry, towards the end of your 28-day cycle. The third primary sign that indicates your most fertile time is the position of your cervix. For some of you, this may be no big deal, but for those of you that are not that familiar with this unseen part of your body, you will learn very quickly, even if it's a bit awkward at first. If this is new to you, you will have to check your cervix every day until you become familiar with the changes, except on the days you're having your period. Wash your hands and then find a position that makes it easy for you to check your cervix, and use the same position every day because a change in position can change the way your cervix feels. What you are looking for are subtle changes. Press gently on your cervix to observe whether it is soft or firm or moderately firm, and also to see if the opening is partially closed or tightly closed or a mushy feeling. Chart the days that your cervix feels firm with an F, and you can see here we've charted the cervix feels firm on these days. We're on day 8 here. As you learn more about your body, you'll begin to notice the difference. Your cervix becomes soft and mushy at your most fertile time. Day 12, 13, and 14 on this sample chart is the day that the cervix felt very soft. The important thing is to be open-minded and patient. And if when you are new to charting, just make some miscellaneous notes at the bottom and just put a question mark in the spaces provided if you're a little unsure. Okay, so that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just let us know by joining in the conversations in the forum. Thanks for watching.